Joining me now is Joe Kaderavek. He is the president and CEO at Cobalt Blue Holdings. Great to see you, sir.
Hey, good morning, Mark. Good to be here.
So for those who may be unfamiliar with the company, you've got sort of a three-pillared strategy with the Broken Hill Cobalt project. You've got the Kwinana Cobalt Nickel Refinery. And then along with that, you have what you perceive to be a global opportunity to extract metals from mine waste. So can you give us sort of an overview of all that?
Yeah, we can. As the name suggests, our origins are in the critical minerals business. So the first of our three pillars is our Broken Hill Cobalt project. In essence, that's a very large mine, ex-Africa, non-Chinese owned, which is looking to put its product into the Western, particularly the EV field. That's progressing nicely. It's under review at the moment with respect to some high grading optionality. Number two is our refinery. So we're looking to build a refinery in our port city of Perth in Australia, where we're looking to source from Australia cobalt materials. And bear in mind, cobalt globally is a byproduct. So we're picking up byproducts from typically the nickel industry and then creating that interface between the mining industry with a crude input, but a chemical refined product, very high spec product into the global EV market. And then third pillar is what we're calling our waste streams or remining business, which is the technology that we've developed with our mine project. We're applying that to effectively clean up tails or waste globally.
Right, and so you started with a single asset. So what's the journey been like, and how has this vision evolved the last while?
Yeah, thank you. Look, we're a very technically competent company, so we're run by engineers. And so our focus on creating a metallurgical process for the mine. So we're mining a mineral called pyrite. For those familiar with pyrite, it's effectively a chemical glue that bonds typically gold and copper and cobalt. So to crack it and liberate the metals was quite a journey. In fact, we've had 7 years of some very large-scale investigation. In doing so, that unlocked the waste streams business because in gold and copper terms globally, pyrite and pyrrhotite are very common waste materials. So that gave us a huge focus for future expansion. And in the metallurgical flow sheet for the mine, we came across the refining concept, which should really be done distinct from a remote extraction source, but done somewhere where the logistics are a lot easier.
Now, Joe, you said that you see the refinery as a potential gateway for Australian cobalt to the world. Can you elaborate on that?
Sure. Well, as mentioned before, cobalt's a byproduct. It's typically 10-15% of a company's or a mine's revenue line. And so typically gets put into the semi-processed nature and someone else takes it away and processes it. What we want to do is aggregate Australian cobalt. Australia produces 4% of the global market. It has a whopping 16% of global resources in that space. By aggregating it, we turn it from a 30 cents in the dollar product, crude mining product, into something that's at metal parity, high spec product, and adds value to the chain and of course our shareholders.
So you want to bridge that gap, that disconnect?
Absolutely,
yeah.
Absolutely. And that's a key part, I think, of our going forward is to be that bridge between the mining industry and the EV industry.
So with the refinery, what are some of the milestones investors can expect, some of the catalysts, the timelines, or timeline rather, and then are you still looking for a partner? How's that coming?
Yeah, so with the partner first, we were fortunate enough to find a partner with Iwatani Corporation. Iwatani is not a name that's commonplace, but it's the largest importer of cobalt and lithium chemicals into Japan. As a reminder for investors, Japanese brands are 4 of the top 10 North American mass passenger vehicle cars by sales. So that's a very important linkage for us. Where we are today, very technically focused on getting the ability to transform the feedstock into the sulfate. We're running a large 24/7 operation. We're making hundreds of kilos of qualification product. We're also deep into our funding cycle. We're talking with debt funders, with equity funders. This interview and hopefully going forward is an introduction to the North American equity market for us, but we're also looking at feedstock and offtake. So there's a whole portfolio of activities looking for FID in Q3 rather.
And something else you're doing in Flin Flon, Manitoba, actually, at a tailings facility there, in conjunction and partnership with Hudbay, is testing tailings. So what are the highlights so far, and what are the next steps in that program?
Yeah, we have a test work relationship with Hudbay Minerals, but speaking about them as a culture, they replicate our view on a relationship between a mining company and its community. So we have a very strong relationship with Broken Hill, with our extraction project. They've got a very strong relationship with the town of Flin Flon, given their longevity as a mine owner. So we like that. We like the fact that they're focused on rehabilitation and at the same time looking for optionality to keep people employed in that process, because Flin Flon closed, I think, about 2 years ago now. Where's that process at? So we're coming to the end of a large-scale test work regime with them. I can't speak openly about it, but I will say that there isn't really not a lot of difference between pyrite in a waste stream in Canada versus pyrite we're dealing with in Australia. So we're getting very similar and very positive results, and that's subject to some discussion. One thing that we have stated publicly is we want to be an owner and an operator of these facilities, not just a minority. So we're looking to create a very collaborative outcome with Hudbay.
Now back to waste materials and the company's patented technology. You're looking for cobalt-rich materials, global opportunities. Do you have any updates there? Can you break any news for us?
Well, I can't. There's nothing I can say to you now that would cause eyebrows to raise. But what I can tell you is that we've got a very systematic process. We've got 2 full-time, effectively, geologists looking to scope out opportunities. We've got a strong relationship with the European Raw Materials Alliance. We're looking to break into a similar North American area. And effectively, there's a lot of cobalt and copper in particular sitting in waste at surface globally. For example, in Spain, the Iberian Pyrite Belt, as the name suggests, has a lot of material there at surface. What's also very positive for us is we're aligned with EPA and regulatory authorities. It's in government's interest to clean up these waste streams. So we see an enormous opportunity globally, and coming back to Hudbay, hopefully an opportunity to marquee our process and ourselves in North America.
And then on the financial side, Joe, what's the cash situation like? What's your cash burn? Do you need to go to the market at any point?
Yeah, it's always the question to be asked. We've performed a capital raise recently, a quite modest one, and that's given us enough cash on hand to last this calendar year. We will be going to the market once we finalise an investment decision for the refinery, but that's a separate raise for the sake of the capital we need for that construction. But at the moment, we're burning around 600K Australian per month, net of some receipts, and we're very comfortable for the sake of this calendar year.
And then lastly, in terms of the investment case and getting the word out, what you're doing right here, how would you say that the capital markets perceive the Cobalt Blue story, and what are the challenges in getting them to understand it?
Yeah, look, we've come and are building a relationship with you folks as an awareness to the North American market. You could argue we should have done this a little while ago. We've got a high degree of technical competency. We've got a good relationship with our own Australian shareholder base, but we're dealing in a global market. We're dealing in a product that ultimately will be shipped into the North American consumption environment. So this is an opportunity for us to create that awareness. We're not. I don't think we're very well known at all, and we're looking to have a relationship with investment here.
All right, very good. It's a unique story. Great to meet you, and thanks for the insight, and we'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for your time.
Okay, good stuff. Joe Kaderavek, he is the president and CEO at Cobalt Blue Holdings. Thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you next time.